We are.
Oh, welcome everyone to Addio Media Marketing Your Practice show. We're going to be kicking off in about 10 minutes, but it's great to be with you again on this Thursday. G'day, mate.
Hello, buddy. I'm going to just send our email
just
out.
going to
let everybody
send a couple of things out, let everyone know that we are going live here. And today we are super pumped about the content that we're going to go through, which is the ultimate video checklist, which is giving you guys some step-by-step things that you need to be ticking off every time you're making and producing your wonderful videos. There's often some things that we forget about or maybe don't do quite as diligently as we need to, so we're going to go through that today.
We're going through this.
Oh, there it is. Look, there's a document, an actual document, and we'll let you know how to get that at the end as well. You can get the checklist for yourself.
So there's a reason why when you're in an aeroplane, before the aeroplane takes off, that the pilots, that the engineers, the staff on board, they have a checklist. Because a checklist is the best way to help you guarantee getting best results. So there are moving parts when it comes to you making a video, the moving parts to when we're doing like what we're doing here now. And a checklist just kind of helps to make sure that you don't miss them. We use them at the practice, end of shift, start of shift, and you definitely should have a video checklist as well. So we break it down into 9 parts. This is what we're going to talk about today. So we've got some of you that are starting to jump on with us now. It's episode 13. Lucky. I like to think it was lucky episode 13. Thursday the 13th episode today. So let us know where you're from, what's going on, all those kind of bits and pieces. We're a little over 8 minutes until kickoff. We're going to... Oh, that was a big bop that made on there too.
Amy,
so, Amy,
g'day.
Checklist, very helpful. What are you trying to do there, dude?
There you go. I was trying to move that
see
over
this.
there,
Got
so
it.
we can't
Okay.
see the comments coming in. There you go.
Got it. So...
Yeah.
Hello, Amy.
Where are you from, Amy?
Welcome to the Marketing Your Practice show. So I'm a big fan of a checklist too, Amy. So Tony's also a big fan. Tony loves the checklist, loves the flow chart, all those kind of things. He's got me on board with them also. So
They do work well.
From Maryland, as in the chicken.
Maryland. It's so fun. I love it when we Aussieify.
Chicken Maryland?
It's like when North Americans call Melbourne. Like it's just this.
Oh, is that probably Maryland, is it?
Yeah, it's not Maryland. It's
right.
Maryland.
Maryland.
It's so. Well, I think that is right. Am I right, Amy? Is it Maryland rather than Maryland? It's Disneyland, but it's Maryland.
G'day, Rick. Welcome to the show here as well. So
we could go on and on, but we are going to go through this checklist. They are super important. Just keep us on track, keep us focused. And yes. I think that's one of the biggest things that we get out of using a checklist, particularly with the video, is that you're not wasting time. And I think, one of the big things is you can waste a lot of time doing video. And we went through in previous episodes about how to batch. So if you haven't seen that one, go back and check that one out, batching your videos. That saves a lot of time. But going through your checklist also can save you considerable mucking around.
So previous episodes you can find over on, these are all as podcasts as well, where you can get the audio of them. They all work with just the audio. Otherwise, scroll through our Facebook page, you can find them there, or even over onto the Addio Media website. You'll get them there. We're kind of working our way through a whole process to kind of help you on a journey there as well. So Amy said here, you're pronouncing it correctly. I think she was referring to me.
So it is Maryland.
Yeah,
got it. So it's Disneyland, Maryland.
That's exactly what it is there too.
Thought it was. Thought it was. Good work. And we...
Trello, you are...
Trello.
And Tony's an Asana fan here as well. So...
I haven't used Trello, but,
And don't get him started on stuff to get a to-do list, checklists, all those kind of things there as well. So we've got a couple of questions that we're going to work our way through first, 5 minutes until we kick off, and we work our way through the checklist as well. So if you're joining us and coming on now, then pop on in, say hi, let us know where you're from. We've got a heavily US-based kind of theme happening at the moment there too. So question here from Dr. B, who Tony was doing some coaching with earlier on this morning, and we were talking about this whole concept of giving away our best stuff. If I'm going to make these great videos, if I'm going to share this wonderful content, why is anyone going to want to engage with me? Like if I give it all away and it's all out there, why would anyone want to? That's in nuts and bolts.
Yeah, that's
the question there too.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on that, Tom?
Well, we do live in what's called a freemium based environment or economy, where a lot of people are realizing that when we half give or we give with restrictions, it comes across pretty sleazy, pretty I'll give you the 3 steps to our 5-step program, and then you have to become a client in order to get the last 2 steps. It just sucks, and I know that it just doesn't come across well. We know that from personal experience. So, giving away your best stuff, Angus always talks about, going first. Give it away. Let people know your amazing stuff. And we hope that's what we're doing at ADO Media. Now, we're going to go through a 9-step checklist here. We're not going to go through 6 of them or 3 of them. We're going to go through all 9 of them. And so we need to be giving our best stuff to show people that we are, gives us higher levels of expertise, trust, authority, and celebrity as well. And so I think it's often a bit of a brain twist.
Yeah, I think if we take it back a couple of steps, and if you think of it like this, in any buying decision that your community is looking for, they're looking for experts. And if they have a choice between someone that's positioned as an expert and somebody that's not, then obviously they're going to want that expert. The way that we help to position you as an expert, we often talk about these kind of 3 pillars. One is just by saying, hey, I can help you. 2 is by having somebody else say, listen, Tony can help you. And the 3rd one is by actually helping them. So if you want to stand out from all the noise that's happening in your community, separate yourself from the rest of the crowd, then what you need to be doing is actually helping people. When you start to build that massive amount of goodwill, when you start to build that kind of authority and expertise, that's where that's why people will call you. It also starts to trigger a couple of our influence principles too, one being the idea of reciprocity. So when you go out of your way to help somebody, they're going to want to do business with you. The other thing that we have going with us too, there's only so much, if I give out a report here about my 3 favourite stretches for those of you who have low back pain or sciatica or, 6 things to do if you're suffering from headaches. The one thing that I can't give out as a chiropractor in any of my things is an adjustment is one of those things that happens in person. It's a one-on-one thing. I have this thing that to me, I think is an essential part of somebody's health process. If you're a dentist, you can give a whole bunch of stuff there too, but checking for a cavity or making sure somebody's teeth is great is ultimately something that needs to be done one-on-one. So don't be shy giving out your best material. The reason that you want to be giving out your best material is, one, it'll build massive amounts of authority and celebrity, particularly if the material that you're giving out is actually making people's lives better as well. When you're giving, give freely. The principle of you'll get everything you want in life when you just help enough other people get what they want. The more people in your community that think that you're cool and helpful, then, the better it will be for you as well. So I think we've got some questions here.
You're right, Amy. And that's great. I'm glad you're getting a lot of comments of, you can't believe that you're giving such great stuff away. Keep it going. Keep positioning yourself there as the expert. And people are going to pay a higher price, a premium price, to have that service from an expert. That's good.
It makes you feel good. I mean, we, as health practitioners, we gravitate because we're people that like to help people. And I love the fact that on a weekly basis, we have patients reaching out to say, we watched your video last week. We saw the Facebook Live with you and Kirby. That was great. I'm doing this kind of stuff. I share that with some people at work. I share this with my husband. I think, and we'll get a little bit kind of airy-fairy, bit of woohoo here, I think we get paid for what we bring to the universe, not just what we bring to the table in front of us as well. So the more we're giving out, careful not to position ourselves as doormats so we're being stood on as well. But I don't think that the relationship in terms of the value we bring to the world is often just one-on-one like this as well. How much can we kind of bring it out there? And Amy, I certainly really agree with what you're talking about as well. So we've got more of you coming on and joining us now. Jump on into the chat. Let us know that you're here. Say hi. If you're so inclined, click the share button as well, because today we're talking about the ultimate video checklist as well. We've broken it down into a flight plan for you that goes through 9 points. Things for you to consider before you even hit record on the video to help you get the best quality videos to help, we talk about building authority, celebrity, goodwill across your community there. Video is a great tool for doing that. We think it's the best tool. And this is a great resource to kind of help you out there as well. So, Amy, I reckon it sounds like you and I and Tony are all on the same path when it comes to this as well. So 20 seconds.
A little final thought on that one as well. Yes, we get paid for what we put out in the universe, but we've also got to have an offer at the same time. We can't just be putting out. We've got to have something of value that people are going to want to take you up on as well.
That's why when we go through that 5-part video script, that part 4 is a call to action. What are we inviting and engaging people to do? So, we've got that thing.
G'day, Liv.
Hello,
welcome.
Olivia. So,
well,
it's time.
Time to kick off. Welcome to the Marketing Your Practice show here with Tony and Angus from Adio Media, episode 13. And today we're going to be going through the ultimate video checklist. Yeah. Not just a wishy-washy one, not a crappy one, this is the ultimate.
You will not find a better video checklist than this one. So that's our commitment to you as well. So the purpose and the point of this checklist is ultimately to help save you time, effort and energy and have you producing magnetic, engaging, entertaining and patient-attracting videos. So, we need our videos to be entertaining and engaging or otherwise people aren't going to get through it. We want them to be magnetic because as they're scrolling through their news feeds, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook, it has to stop them. So there is a tremendous amount of noise going on. And if your videos aren't calling that person to a halt, then they're going to keep on flipping through and not get to see a magnificence that's happening through there as well. And, we want patient tracking. I mean, if we want videos that lots of people watch, then I'm going to suggest what you do is make cat videos. People will love cat videos, dog videos as well, but it ain't going to bring business to your practice as well. So they need to be patient-attracting videos as well. So we have a checklist here for you that's all been graphic designed. Let's see if I can get the colours on it. There it is. Lots of nice pictures through it. That will tell you at the very end how you can get a hold of that and download it. It's a great little thing to put inside your video bag or to have around you when you want to start making videos. So, Dr. T, kick it off with step number 1.
Let's kick it in, change the skin and we'll get going, hey? So the ultimate video checklist, step number 1, or the first thing on that checklist is to make sure that you actually prepare a script or at least an outline of what you're going to be going through in your video. We would never shoot a video where we don't know at least the steps that we're going to follow. And it might simply be some dot points. But we want to prepare that and have it prepared in advance so that we know exactly where we're going with each video. Yeah,
it's tempting when you're busy to want to wing it so you can get through the video as quickly as you possibly can. When you don't have an outline, when you don't have a script, then a couple of things are more likely to happen. You're more likely to waffle, so your video is more likely to be much more longer than what it ought to be. When your video is longer than what it ought to be, then there's more opportunities for your audience to turn off and for it to be not as engaging. Also, when you're not prepared and you don't have an outline or a script, you're much more likely to make a whole bunch of mistakes. And so the time that you might make by not preparing beforehand is going to need multiple takes and it's going to be a whole bunch more time with your editing afterwards. So sit down. What is our video about today? What are our key points? Do I want to memorize it word for word and then add it all together, which is a great strategy? Do I want to put dot points? So what you can't see here, behind the camera here, we have a big whiteboard that we have the 9 points on. Now, we've also have the 9 points here, and we also spoke about them last night and again before the show. So we know where we're going with this preparation to keep us on track. So step number 1 is take some time to prepare at least a script or an outline. Know where you're going with this as well. Even the most seasons of video pros will have an outline as well. So that's step number 1.
Just to add a couple of things there. I think it's a really important point there on preparing is to really know who this video is going to be for. Who's the audience? Who do you want watching this video? And what is their problem that you're going to solve?
Yeah.
What is this video going to solve for this person?
Yeah.
So there you go. Step 1.
So
prepare.
Amy's saying here, so Amy has a 4-box kind of grid that she works through when she's... So I'm thinking Amy is leaving you for dead as far as preparation and checklists.
I've got a bit of a crush on Amy, I'll tell you.
I'm sure you're not the only
Amy, I'll leave my number in private message.
Afterwards too. So step number 2 is we always like to do a run through before we go live with our video. So whether it be a live video like we're doing now or on the flip side of that, whether it be videos that we're preparing in terms of batches. So a quick read out loud. Sometimes what looks good in writing when you say that out loud, you stumble on words. I mean, it's been different times and there's words that I've written down. I try to say them out loud 3 or 4 times. Doesn't work. I need to change that word. So a practice beforehand, lubricate the voice box, get going, understand where is your intonation, how do things flow. So a run through beforehand is really, really helpful. Again, you've got your outline, step number 2, straight into a run through.
I like a run through as well for knowing what my body's going to be doing. What what naturally works for my body language when I'm giving across the message, doing the video. Because I often stumble, I think I have to be too stiff or not stiff enough, but getting used to what I'm saying and how it's flowing both verbally but also kinesthetically is important for me.
Great. So for those of you that are joining us now, we're working our way through the ultimate video checklist. So this is the checklist that Tony and I have put together after making probably thousands of videos and years of working on it too. These are the steps that we follow so that we make sure that we have the best chance of us ending up making engaging, entertaining, and patient attracting videos as well. So at the end of the show, we'll give you the address where you can go to download this as well. So as we're working our way through this, if you've got questions, we'd love to know your thoughts. If you've got other things that you want to add to, then just pop it on into the comments through here. We can keep a dialogue going back and forwards there too. So step number 1 was all about making sure that there's a preparation, prepare a script or an outline. Step number 2 was make sure you have a little run through beforehand as well. Practice. Practice before you perform. And step number 3, Tone, let's get into some sort of nitty gritties as well.
Well, let's look at lighting. Step number 3 is make sure that your environment is well lit. Now, it might be a bit harder when you've got bold, shiny scone like mine, but we need to make sure that there is proper light. And, we often teach people that all you really need is your mobile phone. And one of the downsides of that is a small camera, which means we need it really well lit if you are using, any camera, but particularly your mobile phone. So whether that's having natural light, making sure there's a window behind the camera, or whether you've got some lights, studio lights like we have, it's not a huge investment, but it can make a massive, massive difference. So just make sure that it's really well lit.
So we have a simple 3-point lighting going here, one either side of us here, and then one down behind. But again, Tony said a great point. The mobile devices, which we're suggesting that you be doing most, if not all, of your filming on, natural light is great. They work beautifully. So a big bright window that you're looking at, not a big bright window behind you. A bright window behind you is going to look terrible because you'll get all blown out and the exposure will be terrible as well. So lighting is great. And again, we have studio lights in here, but head on down to Bunnings, Walmart, just a couple of lights. Choose daylight globes. You can get a simple, in fact, I think if you're going to even have a Wistia, W-I-S-T-I-A, Wistia, do a search for budget lighting kit, and they kind of go through how to get a lighting kit set up for less than $100. It's a great kind of walkthrough.
At the hardware store.
At the hardware store as well. So
very good.
Think about it. Your mobile phones are great for shooting film, but be careful because they don't work all that great in low light kind of solutions. So
Amy's just said that we look super handsome today. Oh no, the studio lighting looks great. I'm assuming that means we look great as well, Amy, but I'll take it that way.
Yes. It is. So nice and simple. In fact, we mean to put together, we'll put a little behind the scenes of what our studio looks like here as well. So, it's a very simple setup here. It gives a feel of reproducibility that you can kind of see where our videos are about. And that's kind of, we're going to talk about backgrounds in a moment there as well, different ways of backgrounds. But simple setup, doesn't need to be fancy, and for, less than a couple of $100, you can get a really great professional looking setup as well. So step number 4, we go from lights. Step number 4 is all about, please be really aware of background sounds. We harp on about this a lot because it's super important. We think about video and we get all stuck on the visual side of things. What's the backgrounds? What's my lighting? I want a really brilliant camera. But we ignore sound, background sounds, clocks ticking, fans on, music in the background, people in the office working. It can be super distracting. And when it gets super distracting, yeah, great. I talk about this example lots. Having a brilliant background, a great guy, Dr. Mark, whose stuff I love to follow, shot this wonderful video of him on a chairlift over in the Alps in the south of France. Stunning look, great background. But as soon as I hit play on that video, all I could hear was the background noise of the wind. I didn't get more than 15 seconds into the video and I'll turn it off. So what I know is that your audience will be much more likely to watch videos of you that have really lousy video but have great sound. But they won't watch videos that have poor sound with great video. Did I say that the right way?
Yeah, you did say that the right way.
Yeah. So anything more that you would add to sound through
even
here?
just little things like, you picking up this piece of paper and, these are distracting noises. If we can just, some people talk and they tap their finger on a table. That's annoying. Just so what's your personal habits as well that produces some background noise?
Yeah, we've had times when we've had, the microphones that we have on at the moment are kind of lapel microphones, but you've caught me with it before. When I have the other microphone here in front of me, if I kind of tap on the table there too, it comes across as quite a thud. there's a couple of podcasts I listened to recently where a guest kind of had that kind of thought with things as well.
Yeah.
So
Amy's saying it, even a mouse click can be annoying if you're sitting next to your laptop and you're clicking your mouse. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the other thing too, so if you're shooting with your mobile device, then it means this: you can't have the mobile device a long way from you. So we need it to be close enough so it picks up good quality. The cameras in them are great. The microphones in them are not all that great. So you do need to be close. You need to turn off background sound. And then also what I would suggest, a great investment would be an external mic for your mobile device. Super cheap. I mean, you can start getting stuff for $50 onwards from there as well. We love the Rode products, RODE, are really good ones for us to kind of look at as well. So invest in an external microphone. It'll be one of those things that you can do to really improve the standard. So I think we're on to step number 5.
So that was step 4, minimise the background sounds. Step 5, simple as it sounds, turn off your phone.
Yes.
Put it on Do Not Disturb. You know, we've got our phone out here and it's on Do Not Disturb, so there's no noises. Often we've had, you know, halfway through a great video and the phone will ring.
Yeah.
Whether that's your practice phone, if you're doing the video in your office, or whether it's your mobile device, turn them on silent. Make sure there's no background noise coming in, no phones ringing. We've actually done lives. I'm sure people are watching today have seen us do a live, and the phone will ring. It's annoying, both for us because it takes us off track, but also for those watching. It's annoying. It doesn't put across a great level of professionalism.
So I'm going to say a step further, because this is time that it's caught us before. Even having our phone on Do Not Disturb, sometimes calls still go through. I don't know why. I know there's a setting in there that says that if this person's in your favourite that it can go through. But even with all those turned off, there have been times when I have it on Do Not Disturb and we still get calls through. So turn your phone off. You know, one, it can look unprofessional, but two, if you're halfway through an absolutely rocking video where you've nailed the feel, the emotion, you've got it all in a flow there, and then the phone rings, it's like, So turn your phone off that you're recording with, turn the other phones off, which is another part of the background signals that we've got coming on as well. So that's just a no-brainer there, you know, as you're moving through this as well. So,
and looking at no-brainers, I mean, as you said earlier, you know, pilots have a checklist. You know, I'm sure on their checklist is put seatbelt on. Like, the simple things are often sometimes the things that we forget about. You know, because we're too busy worried about microphone levels and all the technical aspects that we forget to turn our phone off for something simple.
If there's one that has caught us recently, even not so long ago, in fact, I think I was doing a Facebook Live here practice, and again, that's where I've stopped taking my phone on Do Not Disturb any longer. I just turn it off, make sure that I have my Wi-Fi.
There you go, Liv. Great point. If the same number rings twice in 20 seconds, it'll come through.
Right.
Wow. It's like, hot stuff, I really want you. And through it comes. Liv, I'll stop calling you twice in 20 seconds.
That sounds like my kids calling me because they need something essential, like, what are we having for dinner tonight, Dad? I need to know. Mackenzie, particularly my daughter, obsessed about what are we having for dinner. It's the highlight of what we're going through. So if you're joining us now, we're working our way through the ultimate video checklist. So this is a 9-point checklist that Tony and I have put together over years of making videos to help you put together engaging, entertaining, patient-attracting, magnetic videos as well. So a quick review, we went through step number 1 as I bring this back. Oh, that was loud, talking about noises. Prepare a script, an outline. Run through it beforehand. Practice. Practice is what makes perfect for us as well. Make sure your environment is well lit. If you're using your phone, natural light is the absolute key. That's step number 3. Step number 4, we talked about decreasing background sound. So would that be, again, turning off your phone ring, turning off other phones' background sounds as well. Step number 5, turn off your phone as well. Olivia just kind of helped us out by saying the same person rings twice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So that's a great tip as well. So number 6.
Yeah, number 6 is super important, is to check the storage in your camera. You know, often cameras are running on SD cards, micro SD cards, and they have a capacity. You know, we run a show here. It's taking gigabytes at a time each show. It adds up, and you know, if you're not checking the storage as to what's left, you might be left high and dry. You might again be, like Angus said, halfway through an awesome video, nailing everything, and then all of a sudden your camera shuts down because you haven't got any storage left. Nothing worse. So check your storage before you start shooting, and always have a spare memory device, spare SD card, whatever it's recording onto, have a spare one handy.
Yeah, always have extra. Don't cut it tight with that too. Again, in the early days, I've shot 30-minute training videos that I didn't realise that it cut off, 5 minutes into it. And if I'm doing a self-film and I don't have somebody here to let me know, I'm assuming that camera is ticking ahead. I'm off in a zone really teaching something, and then I get back to it and it's like, whew, that's frustrating. So check your memory. What am I, how much space? Not as much of an issue if we're going live now, although we are recording this as well. But make sure that you've got plenty of memory. Memory on our phones, on our cameras and our devices and stuff is cheap now. If you're going out there to buy a new device, I always pay the extra for the more memory. So it's worth having that extra space as well. So on to step 7. Before we get on to step 7, it's that same theme there too. If you've got thoughts about other things, questions in around our checklist so far or other ones we haven't mentioned yet, maybe they're going to be in this last 3 that we're going to talk about, then let us know. If you're joining us, then jump on in and say hi. One of the benefits of us live at this stage is that we get to kind of have a bit of a conversation there too. So Amy is warming our heart all the way through with lots of great advice, so we appreciate it. And again, Amy has her own live shows that she runs and does a brilliant job too. She's a pro at this stuff, so we appreciate you, Amy, sharing with us now as well.
I'd like to put a call out as well for outfits. If there's anything you'd like to see Angus wearing during our show, please let us know. He's very keen to outdo me on the outfits. But we're saying that, on to step 7. Step 7, a lot like checking your storage, we want to make sure your battery level is adequate. Not just adequate, is very good. Because again, nothing worse than something cutting out because your battery's flat. We make sure that when we start, we've got enough battery, or we've got power plugged in, we're not using the battery but using power. Just check it. It's a 3-second check. It'll save you.
Yeah. And I know if you're sitting there going, oh, this is so obvious, I can't believe you guys make this mistake. Maybe that's a reflection of Tony and I as well, but we see this happen again and again. It's the very basic things that check us up, that will trip us up. The big major things we tend to do a really great job of, but it's having enough battery that's important. For those same things, it's frustrating. If you've set up to say, listen, this afternoon, I'm going to actually batch my videos. I've got 5 all planned out like we talked about. And you get there, you've got your camera and the battery's flat, and you've got to sit around for, 30 minutes, an hour for that to charge up enough to get up. It's a waste of your valuable time when you could be doing other, whatever it is that floats your boat as well.
We've done it. Yeah. We've sat there waiting for the battery to charge up. It's frustrating. So
you can get things, charging blocks, which I now carry a charging block around with me all the time for that situation, so I can, there are situations sometimes if you're out filming on a location, maybe at the gym or something like that too, that you can't run power straight to it. So charging blocks can be helpful, but please make sure that you have enough power going onto your phone. I make sure I'm all charged up this morning while we're doing this as well. So I want to say hi to Mary, who's jumped in as well. So Mary, thanks for joining us as well. On to number 8.
Step 8 of the 9-step
it's a tough one.
Checklist.
Believe it or not, we actually did this beforehand.
Look, sometimes they say you can't polish a turd, but it's hard to imagine that Angus and I, would never look unbelievable. But we always check ourselves in the mirror before we start, because presentation is important. So step 8 is have a look in the mirror. Just check yourself out. Make sure you haven't got coffee stains running down your face, or something like spinach or something in your teeth. Just do a quick check and just make sure that you're presentable. We want to be putting our best foot forward when we're putting these videos together. Remember, the world is watching. You want to be yourself, but you want to be your best self. And a quick check in the mirror can, get all those lippy kiss marks off your cheek, all that sort of stuff.
And some of it, gang, is about really, what is your brand like? We're not sitting here now in suit and tie and jackets, those kind of things. It's not who we are. But if that's who you are and that's how you dress when you're in practice, then go for that. Whatever your feel is right for you. But taking a moment to make sure that you reflect that brand, whatever it is we don't mind. If your hair messed up and all that kind of stuff, if that's you and that's your brand, then we want to honour that. And there's also times for that as well. Of we talk about, and in fact the gang over at Live Streaming Pros talk about live streams, and we've used that word beforehand. In fact, and Amy, one of the teachers over there as well. A live stream is that much more raw, real type sort of feel where it is a little bit less produced. It's okay. But that being said too, make sure that you don't, again, soften your teeth, face is clean, those kind of things. A moment to look at your presentation beforehand. When potential patients, when your community are watching your videos, Your videos are a reflection of the service in your practice. If they see you unprepared, unscripted, unkept, I'm going to assume that that's the same quality type sort of care that I'm going to get inside your practice as well. So take a moment, clean yourself up, make sure that you're also kind of looking great as you move forwards as well there too. So any other thoughts with looking in the mirror?
Put your best foot forward, I think, is the overall message there of step number 8.
And on to step number 9, drum roll. And if you're sticking around, in a moment, we'll let you know exactly how you can download all of these, the checklist that goes along it as well. So step number 9, Tim.
Step number 9, guys, is always allow enough time. Nothing worse than you think, oh, I'll just crank this video out in a short period of time because I've got 15 minutes before I've got to be at my next appointment, or before the next patient comes in, or before I've got to go and pick up the kids, whatever it is. Just allow enough time to do an amazing job. You know, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to give your best stuff out there. There's nothing worse than in the back of your mind while you're trying to give across this great video and give great value to your target audience is that you're worried about, oh God, I've got to be at the next gig. So just don't put that pressure on yourself. I would much rather you postpone the recording and do it when you've got plenty of time than squeezing it into a tight time block.
So depending on who you listen to, and different numbers will throw up with this, but about 7% of communication is verbal, what you're actually saying. The other 90-odd% there comes from things that are much more subtle. You know, if I'm in a hurry, if there is that sense of anxiety a little bit about me, that rush, it comes across. These are things that when it gets to the end of the video, this is the difference between somebody, you know, that video being magnetic and someone being drawn towards you and them just being a little iffy with regards to their next steps. So be relaxed. And you're right, you know, if you've got a 5-minute video that you need to shoot, then allow double that length of time so you're relaxed with it. I mean, we had a situation a few weeks ago. I got caught with a meeting just beforehand, some other stuff too. We go into it. You know, we haven't had a show that's full of mistakes forever. This one was because we fell for cutting the time a little bit tight. And so, you know, teacher, school thyself. These are things that work for us, and we continue to add them as we move forwards as well. So don't rush it. You know, no one wants a rushed video as well. So whatever, if you've got enough time, then you've got enough time. But don't be trying to squeeze it in there because it comes through in the feel of the video as well. So this has been our 9-point ultimate video checklist. Tone, want to run them through a summary of all 9 points again?
Let's go through it. Number 1, we want to prepare a script, or at least an outline. Make sure you know who your audience is and what you're going to be talking about ahead of time. And then we're going to go step 2, which is actually to do a run through. Have a practice. Work out how you're going to say it, how you're going to use your body and your verbal, your language. Make sure that your environment is well lit. Step number 3. Step number 4, we're going to make sure there's a decrease, or we're going to reduce our background noises so there's no distractions going on. Step number 5, we're going to turn off the phone. Make sure you don't forget that one. Very simple, but important. Step number 6 is going to be, we're going to check the storage level of your memory of your camera or your phone, depending on whatever you're recording on. Step number 7 is to check your battery levels. Very easy to forget about that, but make sure you've got plenty of battery life to shoot your great video. Number 8, Angus's favourite, look in the mirror. Make sure you're looking dapper, putting your best foot forward, okay? Step number 9 is to allow enough time. We've allowed enough time for this one, buddy. I don't have to be anywhere till next Thursday at 12:20. Right, well, that's it. And if you want to get to the checklist that goes along with that, has all those tips to it, plus some other goodies as well, then head on over to adiomedia.com/13, the number 13. So adiomedia.com/13. There'll be a little spot there for you to put your name and email in, and we'll email that checklist straight to you. Print that out, have that somewhere where you normally take your videos, so you've got access to that all the time. And that'll be a long way towards helping you create some really great videos as well. So now comes the time for those of you that are still with us. Have you got any questions? Any your thoughts there too? So Amy, did we miss anything out? Any things on the checklist that you would suggest that you'd like to add there? And you know, Mary and Livia, the rest of you guys that have been with us for the show here, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Amy.
Any other thoughts there too?
She's just giving me a compliment for looking down the barrel right at her.
Tony, you're doing a great job looking at the camera.
If I wink at you, does that do anything?
We might get
If anyone's got any questions, lay it on us. We'd love to know your thoughts. We'd love to know if there's anything that we missed. What did we miss? What else is on your checklist? I don't know. What could you add? You know what? Number 10, the bonus one on the checklist is be yourself. You know, I think we can get a bit caught up and be a bit stiff. You want to put across who you are, not just great information, but a great version of you. Be yourself. Don't try and be someone else. If I tried to be Angus, it wouldn't work. If Angus tried to be me, it wouldn't work either. So it's about it.
Be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
Everyone else is taken.
Yeah, there's an audience, gang, for everybody, and there's certainly an audience out there for you as well. You know, there are people looking for you. You don't. All we need to be is one chapter ahead in the book. You know, I we were talking about Jim Fortin the other day. He's this quote that stop asking yourself, "Am I good enough?" and start asking, "What does the world need of me?" I've thought about that a lot. That quote as well. So when you start asking, what is it that the world needs of me in terms of when it comes to helping the world, we think video is a great tool. Here's a checklist that will really help you out there as well. So adiomedia.com/1313 there as well. So, Tone?
Another quote. I'll bring up another quote. I just was having a great interview with Dr. Troy Dukowitz for the upcoming Thrive program that we've got. Keep an eye out for that one, gang. We've got Thrive coming up. His quote was, it's the who, not the do.
Yeah.
So it's not, again, we get caught up sometimes in the doing of stuff, but it's who you are. It's who you're being that's going to be the major attraction for your audience. So just remember, be the best version of you.
Yeah, great, gang. Hey, as always, thanks so much for all that you do. You guys are out there on a daily, weekly basis saving lives. We want to acknowledge you for that because it's rewarding work, but it's not always easiest. Sometimes the people that need our help are not always that great at following through with it. It takes us to take a stand there, hold people accountable to help them get the results they want. So we appreciate all the work that you do, the lives that you save on a weekly basis. We want to acknowledge you for that. And part of our mission is to help you do a better job in reaching more people in your community so you can reach your mission. So we'll be back same time next week as well. We'll be sharing more tips, strategies on how to market your practice. As always, gang, thanks for all you do. Head on over to adiomedia.com/13. Download the checklist there as well. And love and best wishes to all you, gang, that were on with us live. If you're listening to this on the podcast, come and join us live. This is where all the fun happens.
Absolutely. All right, till next week.
We're out.
Later.
See you, gang.